potassium complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The CDC opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Issues with me, Shelton, host and producer, alongside our technical operator Alton Jaquan Joseph. We're at the start of another week, coming to you via Real FM Radio 91.3, the frequency for those of you joining us in the northern part of St. Lucia, and 91.5 South, simulcasting also on NBC Television, channel 120 on the Flow Cable TV service. We are on Facebook Live, streaming live on YouTube as well. I trust you had a good weekend, a safe one, enjoyable, productive one, in every way satisfying, gratifying, and that you have started off the new week, the work week that is, on a note of confidence and optimism. Remember, always put safety at the top of your list. And don't forget in that regard that we are in the hurricane season. If we needed a reminder, we got it not too long ago from Hurricane Beryl. And there may be others on the way. Happy for the little rains that come from time to time. They do help in cooling down the place. They do help. Can you imagine last night for the first time in a long time, I went to sleep and at some point I woke up and I put off the fan. I felt I could put off the fan. Oh, yes. Felt good, at some point the air cooled sufficiently that I didn't need the fan. And I said, wow, whatever the little showers are doing and so on, this is the first time in a long time that I have been able to do that. It's nice, you save some electricity, not having to use hot water at all, whether it's midnight or whether it's, 9 in the morning, whatever. You can go in that shower and just let the water run. It feels okay. It doesn't make you feel like, you have to twist and turn or sing loudly, as myself and others in my family would do back in the day when we didn't have hot water, whether solar powered or water heater or anything. You'd go into that shower and oh my goodness, you'd be belting out those songs, and it was your way of coping with the cold water. Water is not cold these days at all. Whatever time normal water from the pipe and so on, your skin, well, my skin at least, can tolerate it. And that's a good feeling, especially since, impact on the bills at the end of the month and going to be anything that you would notice. So whichever way you can economize, people, do it and so on. I use fans instead of AC, again, because I'm mindful of the bills and so on, that you don't want to run them off. In every way, try to economize and so on. I worked it out sometimes, and I find that spending a little extra time in a vehicle, using up the air condition, if you're not driving, that is, it doesn't burn as much fuel or whatever. It will burn a little more. The air condition will cause that if it's just idling without it. But whatever way you can get to economize, do so. Like they say, a penny saved is a penny earned. All right, folks. Where do I start? Two things that I find deeply disturbing this morning. Deeply, deeply disturbing. But I'll start with the lighter one because it's not really in my normal range of things. I'm not the greatest of sports enthusiasts. Like so many people, I have been a West Indies fan and supporter for many, many years. But I think you heard me explain to you, was it weeks or months ago, that I kind of did another psychological.
Yeah, sure.
We're on here right now, an emotional, an emotional kind of disconnecting from West Indies because it's just too emotionally heart-rending. It's just too heartbreaking. It's really to see West Indies, the kind of defeats that they've faced over the years. And it's not just the defeats are not fighting defeats. They seem to be very easy capitulations and so on. Like we heard a phrase about snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. West Indies have been doing the opposite, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. And while this second test match in the 3-match ongoing series against England is not one that you had your hopes too high upon it, but like I said, the first test was lost by an innings and 241 runs or something like that inside 3 days. And then you saw West Indies come back in the second test and England scores 400 and something, batting first. You have to admit that game, it was without question a batter's game. It was a high-scoring game. It was a game where bat dominated ball. Except for West Indies, of course, batting last. The England ball clearly dominated their bat, even when they had done better in the first innings. England scored 400 and whatever it was. West Indies came and they scored 400 and something, leading England by 41 runs. I mean, that was a shocker for me. That West Indies put their head down and they actually went. That they struggled to get England out for a lower score, in the second innings, didn't surprise me. Again, it was a high-scoring game. It was a batter's game. But you saw better bowling, although I feel the bowling on both sides, not only West Indies, could have been more disciplined. I think there was just too much of that straying down the leg side kind of thing. I don't know if the ball is slipping from people's hands. Alzari Joseph, expensive, and to me that's one of the main reasons he has been expensive in the series, the lack of control. He'll bowl a couple good balls and then straight down the leg side, and those English batsmen, they seem very good off their legs, playing those ball off their legs, off their pads and so on, and the leg side flick, they look very, very good at that, the on drive and so on. But I find the West Indies, Shamar Joseph, all of them, like they just cannot keep the ball down that corridor, down that line where it has been shown to be effective in cramping up the English batsmen and preventing them. Too much of that. But in any case, the batters did well. A lead of 41. England come back again, they bat. And then they bat a little over 400, giving West Indies about 385 or whatever. 300 and, England, after they took off, the 41-run lead that West Indies had, they made 384 runs. So West Indies had 385. I know it was going to be a tall order, especially batting last on that kind of pitch. It's not a pitch that wears in terms of deteriorates, but you could see As play went on, the ball was starting to swing. The last couple of overs of West Indies, Alzari Joseph, Shamar Joseph, whatever, you saw that ball beginning to swing. And I said to myself, whoever has to bat last on that pitch, they're going to be challenged. But challenge is one thing, capitulation is another thing. You know, West Indies started to bat and they reached up to 61 runs without losing the first wicket. And I had said to myself, if they lose about 2 or 3 wickets in this last session of play, because the last England wicket to fall fell a little before the normal tea time, they decided to go for tea, so there was kind of like an extended post-tea period. Calculated and said, okay, West Indies have 4 sessions. The post-tea period on day 4, and then they'll have the 3 sessions on the final day. They pace themselves, they'll lose a few wickets along the way, but you know, they can get close, they can get somewhere there. And like I've said, with West Indies, it's not a matter of winning. See West Indies fighting. You know, in other words, you're going to beat me, but I'm not just going to hand myself to you on a platter. I will put up resistance. I will fight and so on. You want my scalp? Well, in the process, you're going to lose a couple of fingers too, or your whole wrist will go and so on while you're trying to take out my scalp. This is the kind of thing I expect to see. So you tell yourself 385 across 4 sessions. I mean, you work it out. You work it out. What's that going to be? You know? 75 by 3, you know? Plus 20, whatever it is that they have to do, you know? Less than 100 runs per session. It may be a tall order, but West Indies have the record for chasing down the highest total, 400 and something, which they did in Antigua, I think against the same England many years ago, or Australia it was. At a time when they were the underdogs and so on, they won that last test, chasing down a total of about 420. But that was a different West Indies team, I have to accept. The conditions were different. They were playing at home, you know, in their own backyard and so on. All that no longer means nothing for West Indies. I understand that nowadays we have a West Indies team. We have to accept that the quality and the confidence is not there, which is again a troubling question. How much over the years since we have been in decline have we been hearing about rebuilding and restructuring and doing things differently and adopting a more, you know, scientific approach and this and that and becoming more technically, you know, sophisticated and that kind of thing? How often are we hearing that? West Indies to tell me, you have 385 runs across 4 sessions to do. I mean, in that post-lunch, that post-tea session that is yours, you know, because you all had England all out right on the stroke of tea. West Indies could not even last 1 session to go into day 5 of the test. You know, West Indies get blown out, all of them out for 143. The same team that surpassed England's, you know, 400 and something, they end up losing by 241 runs. You know, West Indies all out for 143. The same team that batted to make 400 runs and to surpass England's 400 and something by 41 runs, the fella's gone. I mean, what is happening? Somebody, no, you're the West Indies, man. You know, like I said, if they had gone into day 4 and they had lost, you know, on the stroke of lunch or a little after lunch or something like that, that kind of fight, you know, that West Indies team going down like that. I look at that and I said to myself, you know, this is why I think I kind of disconnect. It's not that you want to support the team only when they're winning. It's not the matter of the winning. It's the way West Indies losing. West Indies have a way of making what ordinarily would be the most mediocre bowlers look like they are the greatest thing that ever happened. I'm not saying the bowler's not good, but West Indies batsmen have a way. And I'm saying if you all could have done that in the first innings, it's the same bowlers you're facing and so on. You mean you could not even get half of the 385? You know? You couldn't even get, let us say, a 200 runs or something like that. 143, you get blown away for that. And that 143, it reminds me, of the Cricket World Cup 1983, where West Indies were chasing a total, of 183 that in India had scored, and they fell for, I think, that same 40-run shot. 143. So when I heard that kind of score, it tells me, come on. So there go any hope we had of getting that Botham Richards trophy. And the thing about it, in the process they give England a little record, because that is the first series win that England have had in about 2 years. West Indies is always helping people to set records and so on. England demolished West Indies to claim first series win in over 18 months. That's how it is. It is put in the Telegraph. Shoaib Bashir helped himself to a flurry of West Indian wickets after hundreds from Joe Root and Harry Brook set up England's series-clinching 241-run win at Trent Bridge. Root and Brook, the long-reigning king of England's batting unit, and his heir apparent reeled off classy centuries to pave the way for a sprint to victory on the fourth evening of this second test. Chasing an unlikely target of 385, the Tories were demolished for 143 in just 36.1 overs, as rookie spinner Bashir claimed 5 for 41. The 20-year-old who did not get a single over in the first test at Lord's, and in the first innings the guy was just, he was just insignificant. Nobody even noticed him in the first innings. Like I say, as the pitch wears and it goes on and so on, there's movement and things that he probably, and the ball's a little older and so on. But listen to that. He justified the selection gamble that saw him fast-tracked ahead of the established Jack Leach this summer as he took the role of fourth innings finisher. It was a perfect finale for England's first home test without Stuart Broad or James Anderson since 2012. England's attack was in clinical mood as they forced a dramatic Caribbean collapse from 61 without loss. Chris Woakes got things moving by dismissing both openers. Mark Wood added a dash of raw pace and Gus Atkinson picked up 2. But it was fitting for Bashir, the youngest member of a revamped 11, to applying the killer blow as he clean bowled Shamad Joseph to the delight of the Nottingham crowd. England are 2-0 with 1 to play at Edgbaston next week, securing their first series win since December 2022. Like I said, that's in the Telegraph. So, there we go. This is one of the things that made me, a little sad on the weekend. As I said, I know the quality is probably not there, the confidence is probably not there, but what hurts me most is that the fight, the resistance, when West Indies giving and coming on the back of an innings and 200 and something wrong defeat in the first test, to go down like that when you perform so well with the bat in the first innings. Like I say, real issues seldom ever delves deep into those things. The other thing that makes me a bit unhappy today is what appears to be a leak of a confidential internal police briefing document. We might say an intel document. A police thing, intelligence about gangs and their members and that sort of thing. Something that should not have been for the eyes of the public. It ended up reaching me, and I'm finding out several other people. And once it's out there in cyberspace, it's going to reach everybody. There was apparently some incident where police intercepted somebody who they say is known to them, somebody who has a criminal history or whatever, and I think was out on bail for illegal firearm and ammunition possession and so on, and whatever the interception, the individual ended up being killed, I think in the Marigo area. That was on Saturday. If today is the 22nd, Saturday would have been the 20th. So some police department, whether it's CID or special branch, whatever it is, I don't know, prepares this document to brief the relevant people, whether commissioner or what, about what they know or suspect or anticipate or whatever about gang activity and so on that they might have to confront and so on. It includes the documents of, the photos of people who are allegedly, gang members and so on, and gives, the intel on them and so on. This thing is out there in the public now. How can a document like that, police intelligence and so on gang members and gang activity and that sort of thing, how can that thing be out there? Who leaked that thing? And what is the purpose of leaking it? Even if it was inadvertent and so on, but the police really should be functioning at a far higher level of security than that. I don't know. I looked at it and I ended up calling someone in the police force. I tried calling the commissioner, I couldn't reach her. But I ended up calling someone and they said, well, yes it is. And it is very damaging to us. It's very damaging, and it's going to put a lot of things at risk. It's going to put a lot of our preparations and our surveillance and a lot of things at risk. And he said, as far as I know, as of now, we have no idea how it happened, who it originated from, who may have done it, whether it was inadvertent, whether it was deliberate / malicious. They don't know. And this is the kind of thing that can really knock the wind out of gains and successes that the police are having. And after all the equipment and all the training and all the upgrading that they're getting, if this is the kind of thing that they're going to be faced with and so on, then my goodness, it's really like washing their hands and wiping it in the dirt. It really is an uphill battle for them. And an uphill battle for the police is an uphill battle for all of us, whether we realize it or not. Because the sad thing is when I go around and I meet people and talk to them, and I stay quiet because, you don't want to be too preachy to people so that they don't open up and tell you things. I kind of wonder where so many of us, where our heads are at, that we seem to always want to give the police wrong. There is that kind of animosity. There is that kind of antagonism and hatred towards the police, like they cannot do anything right and so on. And I wonder what we're thinking, when we're seeing what's happening, the killings, the gun crimes, the shooting, the execution style stuff and so on. Now, it's not a matter of gangs of I had my stash there and you took it, whatever. A man gets shot because there was an exchange of slaps between he and another man. Another man at Millet the other day gets executed in broad daylight. Someone that he had some exchange or some quarrel with and is waiting for a bus to go to work in broad daylight, and the guy walks up to him and just puts him down. There's that sense of entitlement about criminals now that we have a right and we are justified to be doing what we're doing. And guess what? This is nothing to be of any comfort to any of us, because even if it's not you they target deliberately, you never know where the bullet is coming from, and people have been killed by stray bullets in St. Lucia. It has happened all the time. And now that we find this sense of entitlement, this sense of, I have a right to do that and I am justified, and people feel that they have a right to be executioners and to take people out for any nonsense. Now, there was a time it was said who steal, whose drugs, who did what, who did that, but right now it looks like, little of the most petty things and so on, people are prepared to take out others for it. This is a time where we need to be closing ranks behind our law enforcement. This is a decision we have to make. The same way we have friends and family and cousins who are in crime and in gang business and so on. How many of us have friends and family and all who are police officers in the police personnel and so on? But even if there were none, this is about our country. This is about our society. And I am assuming that most of us still believe in society. We still believe in its value. We still believe in community. We still believe in country. We still believe in security and order and stability. Folks, we don't need people to preach those things to us, You see those fellas who are doing those things? The day they are able to bring about a collapse of the formal system of law enforcement, and they're able to control things, I'm telling you, don't ever believe our lives will in even the tiniest iota be better. Because they don't care about anybody. There is a kind of heartlessness now I find among our young people. And I look at it sometimes, you see those things manifested and you don't make the connection between them. You are driving on the road, some of the things you see people doing and you're saying, but how come I see that other line of traffic coming through on the other direction? I'm trying to pull myself as much as I can to the left. Sometimes you have all different calculations to make, because to the left there is one or two pedestrians. You don't want to run over them. There is no sidewalk in many cases. So it's not a case of people who walking on the road, so you want to teach them a lesson, which you should not do. You're there to save lives and property. There is a whole lot of on-street parking. Many people, they park they have no other place, so they buy their vehicles and so on, and the garage is the public road, so you have to drive taking account of this, that the road is often reduced to one lane and so on. You're doing all these kinds of things. Sometimes the obstruction, you are aware that the obstruction is in your lane, so you stop. Other times the traffic coming from the other side, the obstruction is in their lane, so you believe that they will stop, but no, they come around and they come straight at you, and it's like, move yourself there. I don't care what you do, I'm coming through. And I've had a few of those experiences, and I wonder, but how come I am so conscious? And I'm sure that goes for many of you, most of you. You drive on the road, you're doing your best to prevent the possibility of an accident. You stop to allow people through where the obstruction is in your lane. You courtesy people, you give way to them, you do all sorts of things, or you are aware that the road is narrow, so you slow down your speed so that you can better negotiate, allow any pedestrians, take account of different road conditions. But you see some people coming and like they couldn't care about any of the things that you care about. Properly, they teach you that in driving school. 40 years later, I can remember all of those things. You wonder how many people there are on the road who ever went to driving school. Because I can understand you go to driving school. And what I knew of those driving school instructors at the time, they really drill certain things into you. You must not do this. You must not do that. You have to, don't, even if you indicate, you must glance over your shoulder. Don't depend only on the mirrors. The mirrors have, I can hear those voices in my head. The mirrors have their blind spot. When you do, you must, mirror, signal, maneuver, glance over your shoulder, and then pull out. They drum that into your head all the time. And I see things and I say, I wonder how many of the people who are on the road, how many are licensed? And if they're licensed, how sure is the integrity of the process by which they were granted a license? Because the things they're doing, is like there was never any instructor to drill those things into them. Because like I said, I know those driving instructors, they were people, I don't know if they changed. But those guys, I tell you, I can still hear voices in my head of the things they would tell you to drill it into you and so on. What is going on our roads now? And almost every time I look at the people who are doing those things, I glance at them when they pass. It's very often young men, well groomed, they have all this nice haircut and razor marks and they're looking, they're looking proper, they're looking well appointed and so on. But, you just see that there is that sense of ruthlessness and don't care with anybody and heartlessness and they don't care if they cause carnage and if they kill and if they're doing. And I'm saying, but, what's going on there? Now, you can't go and talk to them and hope a pat on the back and try to persuade them. It is enforcement that is going to deter them. You have to bust, even if it's a few of them, and let the word go out that police are busting people. Likewise, if all this killing and all this shooting and so on, when they feel the power of a gun in their hand, because we are like that, the moment you feel a sense of power, that you have some sway over people through fear, terror. I keep saying that a lot of the crime we have in this country, we have to reclassify some of them as being forms of terrorism, domestic terrorism. They're meant to terrify and to have people in a state of paralysis. The chilling effect, people don't want to talk, people don't want to act, people don't want to report. They are being done brazenly and so on so that they can cause the populace to cower and to be intimidated. And we have to mount a collective response to those things. So I want to appeal to whoever else may have received that document, which I have received and deleted. I'm not going to be forwarding it to anybody. Those of you who have a patriotic spirit in you, please do the same. At least if you don't want to delete it, do not forward it to anybody. Of course, maybe just about everybody has it. But let us protect the law enforcement and security. The law enforcement and security of our country. Let us collectively try to preserve and to protect it. I hope there's a message in this thing for the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. That you cannot take anything for granted. That even your means of transmitting things from one department to the other, you have to look at it again. Maybe it was a missend. Perhaps you meant to send it to your superior, superintendent or whatever it is, and then your finger hit a button. This kind of thing happens a lot in the virtual world. I have liked things that I didn't intend to like. It's just that the phone screen is so, tiny and so on that you mean to scroll to press the back button and then, screen sometimes they shift on you because there's some pop-up or something, whatever that comes and so on. And then before you know it, your hand hits a like of something that you would have never liked. It happened to me. Sometimes you notice it and you go back to unlike it. Sometimes people might see a like of yours which you never intended to be. So it is possible that whoever intended to send it, maybe by soft copy to somebody else, they missent it, and then once it's out there and nothing you can do about it. Of course, I know right now there is the delete feature that you can delete something that you have sent, but maybe by the time you do that, the person has captured it already, has it open already. They can save it, in their documents, in their downloads, whatever it is. So I hope there is a lesson to be learned in all of those things. These are the two things that I said deeply disturbed me. When I come back from this first break, I want to say a bit about this development of the President of the United States, Joe Biden. I've said a few things about it, but I want to give my personal take on it, as a means of inviting you to give your take on it. Is it a good development? Is it too late? What are the options and so on? I have an interest in it, like most of us do and so on. I've made no secret about it. But let's have a chat about it when we come back from the break. This is The Real Issues.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
Why are you suffering aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
Live streaming has become one of the best ways to connect the funeral of a loved one with friends and family, both local and international. NBC Television will live stream your funerals on television and Facebook at a reasonable rate. With our state-of-the-art equipment, you can be assured that the quality of your funeral will be to your satisfaction. Call our office now and book your obituary and streaming with us. 758-453-7458.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man.
Of another week on Monday, July 22nd, 2024. I'll soon be opening the phone lines, but at last, at long last, maybe too long last, Joe Biden has decided to do what many, myself included, feel he should have done a long time ago, which was to stand down or step down, whichever is more applicable, as the Democratic Party's candidate for re-election in November as President of the United States of America. Question is, has he left it too late? Can the Democrats find a candidate who in the time left can gain the momentum required to push back successfully against the strong bid by Donald Trump to regain office as President of the USA? I don't think it is impossible, be honest with you. I think it's doable. But they need to find the right candidate. And in my mind, it ain't Kamala Harris. It ain't. Not that she's not capable, not that she's not competent. You see, in my mind, there is something that the presidency of Obama did in racist America, which is a lot more entrenched and maybe a lot more vast than we assume. They keep their heads down because the times are not in their favor to come out and to show their true colors. But I suspect there's a lot more bigotry and racism and prejudice in America, even among the learned, the professionals, the lawyers, a lot of the people you see out there and so on. They won't come out and show it openly. And I believe the presidency of Obama put them in a state of what I would call, oh my God, what have we done? We actually allowed this to happen. And we are determined not to let it happen again anytime soon. Probably never to let it happen again. And that didn't happen again, ever. Even right now, I look at America and I see the way that the Supreme Court has been ruling and responding and acting. And I tell myself, America has a judiciary that seems a lot more activist and a lot more in collusion with elements of the political establishment than we would ever surmise, than we would ever suspect. But of course, that's always difficult to prove. That the person with the greatest degree of influence and clout on that Supreme Court is somebody who has every reason to dislike Joe Biden and the Democrats, because they push back against him becoming a Supreme Court justice. He was investigated over the allegations made by his one-time clerk and former law professor and so on of sexual harassment and so on. I think the role that Clarence Thomas is playing on that Supreme Court is probably one, again, that's not... that a lot of people may be underestimating. But again, what can you do? That is the most entrenched and difficult to assail arm of U.S. governance. But enough of that. I think the Democrats seriously miscalculated in that the moment Joe Biden won that election, the first order of business and one of the greatest priorities for that Democrat administration was succession planning. In other words, Joe Biden has come, he has done what we wanted to do. He is a political hero for having ended the run of Donald Trump and done it effectively and decisively. But let us not get carried away and fancy Joe Biden anywhere beyond one term. And he's barely making it to the one term. What we need to do is from the moment that new administration and Biden is inaugurated, we have to start preparing and grooming and headhunting and searching and scoping and testing the waters for somebody to replace him. I think they went with the flow for 3+ years, that, okay, let's wait and see. We believe, we can squeeze a little more out of him and we can go through another term with him and so on. I think that was a serious mistake. To have even waited until that disastrous debate with Trump last month and so on to realize that Biden does not have it to go another term again, I think the Democrats allowed themselves to be caught wrong-footed. So now it became a point of trying to persuade him and those who support him for him to step down and that sort of thing. Right away, it looks like there is some internal bloodletting, even though there may not necessarily be that. The succession thing from... Suppose Biden had dug his heels in more. Where does that leave you? And as I have said, they don't seem to have contemplated the possibility that the very cognitive impairment of Biden made him perhaps incapable of appreciating, incapable of apprehending, incapable of discerning his own condition and to see, it's like, what have I done? What have I done? He doesn't understand. He's past the stage where he's able to do that kind of self-appraisal, that kind of reflection, that kind of self-examination. They're very lucky. They're very lucky that whatever little wit he has left permitted him to see, okay, I got to give in at that. If it had gone on a little further, maybe the cognitive decline was such that he might have dug in his heels a lot more. And constitutionally, what can you do? That's what I felt. They went and took Biden on as if Biden were a normal 2-term project. He was never that. Biden was somebody who could come back and slap, like United Workers' Party back in 2006, 2007. 10 years after John Comden had stepped down and had said, he wanted, you cannot bring him back and expect that it is the normal run of things that he's going to go on for a term, whatever. He didn't last a year. And I think a lot of the problems that arose in the UWP after that of people misbehaving and so on and so forth is because they leaned a little too heavily on the notion that Papa is back. And that Papa is back in the normal sense of being back. It could never have been. There must have been a reason why he decided to step down back in 96, etc., etc. There must have been a reason. Okay, he came back because whatever it was, he saw the way things were going and whatever was said and so on. But that's the thing about Kamala Harris. It's the same thing with Barack Obama. Sometimes we have to move with the consciousness and in sync with the society that we are leading and that we are representing. To try to go too far out and ahead of what the entrenched sentiments of that society. Yes, somebody has to bell the cat, I agree. But I just found, as I found with Obama, and now I'm finding with Kamala Harris and some others, I just find there's some issues that a lot of mainstream America in its conservatism, whether driven by Christianity or hypocrisy, I don't know, consider these things to be the sign that the devil is taking over our country. And once you go down that road, you spook them. You spook them. And the Supreme Court believes that they now have to be the guardians of those American values which are under attack from the Democrats and the liberals and so on when it comes to abortion. And so we must reverse Roe v. Wade and so on. They're going to go after, how do they call it? Obergefell and Simpson, or whatever it was, this landmark ruling that passed by majority decision about, gay marriage and so on and all of that legalized gay marriage. They're going to go after it just like they went after Roe v. Wade and make some ruling that will invalidate it. Because what it does is that the entrenched America that includes the religious right and the fundamentals and the whatever it is of the taking over our country and so on, right away you galvanize them into a kind of resistance, which I feel you can take in a more gradual way and so on if you really need to go down that road. And Kamala Harris, exactly what Obama did. Obama was already into his second term, whatever. But I think all of that caused the digging in of the heels and so on. And Kamala Harris is that same type of person, going ahead with that agenda that it seemed like the most important thing is getting abortion rights and getting same-sex marriage rights and this kind of thing and so on. You see the game Donald Trump is playing? A Donald Trump who for the most part lived what those very same religious right and Christian fundamentalists and whatever would have said is a sure sign of the devil in the flesh and so on. Donald Trump, what did he care about morality and fornication and adultery and family values and all that thing? The man has been married at least 3 times. By his own admission, he's a guy who, while he's married and so on, he bounces around with other women in a very liberal way. Women, when you're a star, you can grab them by the whatever and this kind of thing. Since when has Donald Trump cared about those values and those? But you see, now he's playing the game. He's playing the game. We need more prayer in this country. We need more Christianity. We need Jesus. Donald Trump, And if you're Donald Trump like that, for all the criminal convictions and, that he's had, that he now has as strikes against him. Like I said, the conservatives in America, whether because of genuine Christianity or convenient hypocrisy, they're going to close ranks behind him. And many other people will who believe, and Kamala Harris will be the perfect target on whom they will pin all those things that they claim or categorize as being the evils affecting America. She'll become a perfect lightning rod for all that resistance and opposition and hatred. They will funnel it down there, and Donald Trump will play the game. The expect in St. Lucia, we have already seen signs of it. It's going to happen. People are now showing up in church every Sunday and so on, and they're probably giving generous collections, and they probably know how to grease the hands of religious leaders. They did it in the 2016 elections, visiting different churches and targeting them to attend them, and they must be placing good money in those collection plates that are going around and so on. Don't be surprised if in St. Lucia we see more of, even if vaguely talking about the Lord, and the Lord must deliver this country from the wickedness of Philip J. Pierre and the praying, and who will come and put their hand on whose head and pray. No, expect the posturing and the grandstanding, expect it to happen, but it's happening. Donald Trump, of all people, he's shaping himself now to become a darling, of the religious fundamentalist and right in America and so on. And they're going to have the choreography so well scripted for that. Kamala Harris is a person who, I am telling you, will attract all those demons of justification for that kind of thing. I don't believe she is. There may be others. Like I said, I don't think it's too late at this stage. I think the Democrats can still do it, especially if all of Trump's convictions and all those things that have gone on. I mean, Donald Trump, they are not doing enough to portray him as a criminal. They have a right to do so now. The courts have said so. The courts have said so on multiple counts, and whether they will be overturned on appeal or whatever it is, which I think all of them, Supreme Court, they won't get past the Supreme Court. The fact is that Donald Trump's image has been dented and damaged, and they need to take account of that, of his behavior and so on. But the more they keep all this pussyfooting around, the people they're pushing forward and so on, to make it look like they are justifying the very things that have spooked Americans and which caused them to go into, oh my God, what have we done mode? When you put Kamala Harris, I mean, that is exactly the kind of brick wall that you'll be slamming your head into. That's my opinion. The other thing which I said to myself, Donald Trump is coming back, making a bid to be president again after he served one term and he was defeated. So can't Obama come back? Obama is probably the guy who has, despite my criticisms of it, he has a lot of respect, I would think. He has a lot of pull and so on. Why doesn't he, throw his hat back in the ring and come back to rescue America from Donald Trump? But I just read something in USA Today, which I want to share with you. With Biden out, why Obama can't make a comeback in 2024. And it was published yesterday, July 21st, updated at 7:10 p.m. Eastern Time. With President Joe Biden's recent decision to end his bid for re-election, speculation has arisen about candidates who could replace him. One name that might come up in such discussions is former President Barack Obama. But the question remains, can Obama run for president again? The answer is no. Obama can't run for president again because of the 22nd Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. This amendment was ratified in 1951 in response to Franklin D. Roosevelt's unprecedented four-term presidency, which raised concerns about the potential for excessive executive power. The 22nd Amendment states that, quote, no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of the president more than once. End of quote. And I might add, that is why Harry S. Truman could have continued to be the president until 1949 or whatever it was after Roosevelt died. He completed the term. It was almost a whole term though, considering the time that Roosevelt won. And then Harry S. Truman could have won election to go into the early 1950s on his own. It is also the reason why Lyndon B. Johnson could have completed the term of John F. Kennedy as vice president, and then he could have run for elections where he completed another term. I think this is the way it works. Gerald R. Ford, as the vice president to Richard Nixon, completed the term after Nixon was impeached, and then he ran for elections again. Something of that kind, okay? I think this may be applicable. Maybe they're not. I'm sure you'll message me and tell me exactly what it is. But continuing the article in USA Today, this provision ensures that if someone has served 2 terms as president, they are constitutionally barred from seeking the presidency again, even after a break. The Democratic nominee to replace Biden will be decided during the Democratic National Convention, which takes place in Chicago from August 19th to August 22nd. Since Biden cannot appoint a replacement, his delegates will determine the nominee at the DNC. People are saying that Biden basically is like saying, well, Kamala Harris will replace. He can't do that. She is the vice president. She does not have any authority or standing whatever in the Democratic Party to determine who their nominee will be. If Biden dies or resigns whatever, Kamala Harris will become constitutionally the president. The Speaker of the House of Assembly is going to become the vice president according to the Constitution. So I mean, there's a process for it all. But Biden cannot determine who the Democratic Party's nominee will be. The Democratic Party will make its own choice and its own selection. Following his decision to withdraw from the race, Biden endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris as his potential successor. In other words, it's free to say, I believe Kamala Harris will be a good person to become the Democratic Party's nominee for the November elections, but he cannot essentially instruct them to endorse her. That's an open process that other people can throw their hat into it and so on. So this is just something when I said about Obama coming back. I did a little searching and that come up. Folks, the telephone lines are open now to take your calls, and I'll be reading your messages. So you're welcome now to share your views on all the things I've spoken about, West Indies performance, and that leak of that police intel document about gangs and so on, as well as what's happening in the United States. The numbers to dial are 487-9849. That's correct, Jaquan? 487-9849. That's the mobile number on which you can WhatsApp call us. And you can also call us on 4533-911. I think we're getting our first call already.
Good afternoon, Shelton Daniel.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you, my friend. Man, Trump must not enter the White House again. Tropical or sunny delight, these Trumps have done too much, and the people must always be sober in their thinking, sober politically, so when it's time to vote, that they make the right decisions. Shelton, I'm Sunny Delight Trump.
There's a Sunny Delight Trump?
Yeah. There is the, we have the tropical.
Yeah.
So the other one is the Sunny Delight. If you see he come back in that White House there, vengeance, war is going to be declared.
Which is why I was so happy that this assassination attempt on him did not succeed. Because if it had, America would have been burning now, I feel it, worse than it did on January 20th. Because there are a set of people you would not be able to convince them that it was not a conspiracy and it is not, Biden and the Democrats and so on who ordered him to be killed or whatever. You would not be able to convince them of that.
But, But it is my view that Biden dropped out at the right time.
Okay.
Not even Kamala Harris that saw that,
Really? You think so? You don't think they discussed that before?
She didn't see that.
I doubt it, man.
I think the time they put him in thing because of the COVID and the pressure because they were monitoring the polls. And he keep on saying that he will run. And now, but I have a different view than you. I believe, and that's my view, that Kamala Harris going to defeat Trump. Because you see the Democrats now, they're falling in line.
Okay.
And 6 hours, Shelton, 6 hours after Biden pull out, $27.4 million came in, So the people that were threatening to stop funding and giving the contributions, everybody falling in line.
Okay.
Everybody falling in line. And I think it's a very good move because that have the Republicans panicking. Because let's face it, I believe that Trump would have eat Biden food. That's my view. I believe if it was Biden that they send there, Trump would have eat his food. But Kamala Harris, if all the Democrats fall in place, they're going to beat Trump. Have a good afternoon.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, I note the sentiments, and I could be wrong about it. We have another call on the line. Hello.
Yes, hello, good afternoon, and how do you do?
Oh, I'm doing okay. How about you?
No, not bad, Sheldon. Sheldon, honestly, I support women in everything. But one thing I do not support women with is politics. When women get themselves in power, they get sick, they get wicked, they get miserable, they lose their mind. That is one thing I don't support a woman in is politics.
Give me examples. Give me examples of women who have been in power that you have seen those things manifested. I could call some names for you.
I have never forgotten Margaret Thatcher's.
Margaret Thatcher in England, Angela Merkel in Germany. Angela Merkel in Germany.
Yes, and not too far from us, our neighbor.
Eugenia Charles in Dominica.
That's right, our neighbor.
Mia Motley in Barbados.
No, that one I have a pass on her.
That one you what?
That one I have a pass on her.
A pass?
The three others we mentioned there? Oh no, not at all. I have never forgotten what Thatcher said. Immediately she was elected, all the black people, she convinced all Africans, all West Indians, all black people to vote for her. Immediately she got into power. When she catch her breath, the first thing she said, as for the black people, even if your seventh generation were born in England, you are not British. But you never said so before you got their votes. That woman from Dominica, she was an iron fist too. I witnessed that woman's death. And I told myself, if I have to die like that, I would just rather shorten my days.
Yeah, well, we've had prime ministers, female prime ministers of Israel. Golda Meir was one. I think there was another one who came after her, not for a very long time. Australia, New Zealand, I think, have had female prime ministers and so on. And it has not been a horror story with them. We have had Liberia, had Ellen Sirleaf Johnson and so on. We've had a few of them. And I'm saying around the world, I don't know.
Those that I know of.
Okay.
They are worse than Iron Fist.
We had Janet Jagan. We had Janet Jagan, who was the president of Guyana. We had
well, as for that one, she acted like she was more Guyanese than the born Guyanese.
We had, what's her name?
She came from America, and she pretended like the Guyanese were not Guyanese. She was entitled to tell them when and what.
Yeah. We had Christina Kirchner in Argentina. So, we've had a few women leaders around the world, and they have not proven to be disasters like that, So, I understand what you're saying. But
what I am saying, they rule with iron fist.
Okay.
Now, as for that one, I like her very much as a vice president. If she's missing one vote to be president, I'm giving it to her.
Okay. All right. It's very interesting. It's very interesting to hear a woman talking like that.
Oh yes, I don't support her because she does not think right.
Okay.
She has an agenda. She's pushing some bad vibes.
Okay.
And I don't support her at all. Let her sit as vice president. Let somebody else take over. If they put her in Congress to do something else, let's go for it. But to be the boss, no. Parce que mahaka de Cervelli pas un bon cervel. Il n'y a pas qu'à pousser qui just pas positif. Il n'y a pas qu'à pousser qui pas positif. Bon, moi qu'à dire bah, est-ce yo mette les qui gagne. Là il dit bah. Là il y a 7 moun qui gagne. Est-ce que c'est moun qui claim Hitler te fait aussi et Hitler te fait ça. C'est yo qui gagne bénéficier tout ça qui est. Parce que ma oui c'est yon. Ma oui c'est yon. So moi savent c'est yo qui kay bénéficier. So j'en ai pas qu'à bénéficier à rien. Parce que même si son ouais qui peut pour un président, yo pas faire loi. Yo pas c'est moi qui a dit yo ça pour faire. Yo just like Obama. Obama was president but he was never president because it was other people that were pushing him. He was just like a puppet. He didn't make the rules. Like he was abiding with those that bring it up. Black people did not really benefit anything from Obama, which they rarely thought they would have. C'est moi-même Kadiba, moi-même pas supporter Madame Sarah. Qui était là comme vice president, mais m'a avalé pièce long help.
Okay.
M'a supporté pièce pour mon pouvoir. Bon.
Okay. Merci un peu.
All right, good.
All right, I heard someone else was trying to call, but maybe they couldn't stay on the line. So let's go for the break, Jaquan, and then when we come back, we'll continue taking some more calls.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
Live streaming has become one of the best ways to connect the funeral of a loved one with friends and family, both local and international. NBC Television will live stream your funerals on television and Facebook at a reasonable rate. With our state-of-the-art equipment, you can be assured that the quality of your funeral will be to your satisfaction. Call our office now and book your obituary and streaming with us. 758-453-7458.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The CDC opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The man.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
To the real issues on this
The
Monday,
man.
22nd July 2024, and we have two callers on the line. Let's take the first one. Real issues, you're on. Hi, good afternoon to you.
I
Okay.
don't think she knows much about politics. I respect her view,
But imagine now another woman decrying a woman that's going up for election in the States as president. Would she prefer Putin? I didn't hear her put down Trump. Well, I am supporting Kamala Harris 100%.
Okay.
You have to let the lady prove herself. You mightn't agree with her ideology, but give her a chance.
Okay.
I just put on the TV at this moment and hearing this talk. I couldn't help answering. As you said, the number of women who have represented us, the Caribbean, throughout the world. You're going to say, don't give her a chance, you want a ban? You are prejudiced against women. I disagree with her. I like the way you have a cool temper, you can answer that. But don't tell me you don't like her ideology. Remember what the Bible tells us. Stop judging people. What we are criticizing might be in our backyard. We hate people. God asks us not to hate. He's the one to judge people. You don't like her ideology. Doesn't mean you doesn't like her. Give her a chance. The lady has not even come there. You have so much to say about her. I disagree with this lady. I do not always agree. But I'm telling you, she went too far. I have to answer on women's behalf. And I wish this woman would win election to know what she has to say. Goodbye, Sheldon. This is my issue.
Thank you
I'm
very
a woman
much.
as well.
So it looks like if you were sitting in the chair where I am, you'd fight with her through the phone, right?
Yeah, no, I won't fight. I find you are cool. I like your temperament. I've known him for years. But there are sometimes, I'm a woman. I know the way you answered, but she can't say the thing she said.
Okay.
She shouldn't.
Right.
I mean, a woman is coming. You know how Putin is behaving, how Trump. I didn't know how criticize Trump. I haven't heard her criticize. Probably we should send Putin in Harris's place.
Yes.
Probably she would feel better. I mean, give the woman a chance. It's sad. I'm telling you, I'm sad to hear a woman talking this way about another woman.
Okay.
Give the woman a chance. Our women like to do that, you know. This is why men will always leave them. They don't like women. They are their own enemy. Goodbye, Sheldon.
All right. Thank you very much.
Right.
Okay, and we also had Portia Simpson Miller in Jamaica, who I think gave a good account of herself, you know, from everything that I've heard. We have another call on the line. Let's take that call.
Yeah.
Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
When you have two callers, you always have a cross line, I think, you know.
When I what?
When you have two persons waiting, there is always a cross line.
So you were hearing everything the other person was saying?
I'm hearing everything, and I thought it was me that you were referring to. But anyway, good afternoon to you, the Honorable Shelton.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to all.
Erase from your hard drive everything you heard that you are not supposed to hear. Okay, so go ahead.
No. No. Shelton, blessings. I hope you had a wonderful weekend.
Oh, yes.
Shelton, a couple of things. Let me just try and see if I could run through them quickly. Shelton, this morning I was listening to Yadi and Jahim. And as much as I do not watch Carnival, I do not follow Carnival, the only thing I like in that time is Calypso, because I love a good social commentary.
So you don't like The Wall, okay?
Well, I don't like The Wall. Yeah. I will not come and openly criticize the people. Things, Shelton, to each their own.
Okay.
You know, I am not the person who is going to criticize Carnival.
Okay.
You know, as we always say, it's carnal. It's the exposure of flesh. You know, everything there that is carnal. So
it's meant to be. It's meant to be that.
Exactly. Yeah. And if we do not know that, then I think I don't know. But people just should hold their own corner and allow the people to do their thing. If you're not, you see, for me, I'm not watching it, so I can't tell you what happened, what didn't happen. I ain't gonna come and criticize it. But what I really took out of it in the few clips that I saw this morning when I was listening to her, and I was listening to Yadi and Jain playing a clip of her. Shelton, as everybody know, once I hear Saint Lucia, Gloka Sotazi, Chema Kavini Mall, Kavini Feb. When I heard the girl, the way she described my island, gosh, the amount of money we would have been spending in trying to promote this country. And this girl is just doing that at an ease for us. Shelton, I am friends with a group of African hair breeders there. And I went to the store on Saturday, and you know what the people tell me? Bernard, we're preparing for Carnival because we heard our girl from Africa. We're preparing, we're getting our tickets ready. All of us going to St. Lucia for Carnival because it looked like your home is a very nice place. My friend, the amount of advertisement that girl is giving St. Lucia, the amount of coverage that girl is giving St. Lucia, but Shelton, my heart goes melt when I hear the girl talk about St. Lucia.
That is with the Trinidadian or Cora?
Cora.
What's this big? What was this big brouhaha about Cora that there seems to be so much I don't know. What's all this control?
I do not know about that, Shelton. That Buara people. Let people be. People just, I do not know why people can't let people be. Let the people do their thing. Let the people enjoy themselves. That is how they feel that they should enjoy themselves. That's what they want to do. My God, if I'm a Christian and I preach the word, I can't force people to accept what I preach. I can't go in people's ears, pull it, and tell them you must. No. People have a choice. That is why God created all of us and gave us a mind of our own and a choice. You know, we have to choose. If we choose, that's up to us. Whatever we choose, we all don't have the same path in life, Shelton. And I think people should be. But I tell you, on the positive side, Shelton, I really enjoyed seeing the girl promoting my country. Well done. If I had the money, I wouldn't pay her to continue doing it. Because, man, the promotion, the kind of advertisements St. Lucia is getting. I tell you, I went to the store and they have Brother Shelton already preparing to go to St. Lucia for next year. That is like 7 people that have never been to St. Lucia that's coming again. You know? But anyway, Sheldon, why hasn't Obama endorsed Kamala Harris just like Biden did?
It's a little early. It's a little early. If he does that, I guess he's probably thinking he might be prejudicing the convention. You know, and given who he is, an ex-president and so on, whose endorsement would carry weight, I don't think he wants to prejudice the thing, because there might be other excellent people that he wouldn't want to offend or make them feel that he is, you know, he's torpedoing their chances. Maybe Obama is close to, let's just pull the name, Gavin Newsom of California, the Governor Newsom. And probably, doing that, he might essentially be torpedoing Newsom in a way that he doesn't want to. So
Newsom already said he endorsed Kamala.
I just pulled the name. I just pulled the name Newsom. I'm not saying he's the one.
Governor of the governor of Michigan, okay?
Yeah.
Who have already, this guy can literally fund. He don't need nobody's money. This guy can literally fund his own campaign.
Who's that?
That $50 million they raised there for Kamala. This guy could have taken that out from his pocket.
Who's that?
I can't remember his name, but he's the governor of Michigan.
Okay.
This guy can literally run his own campaign, and he was one of the names that have been touted. And he has already said that no, he endorsed Kamala. I think it's a little bit late, Shelton. We got to put our heads behind the nominee and get things going. I understand what he tried to say, that people don't want to prejudice, but Shelton, without her name was being mentioned, whilst Biden was still there. You know, she was in the poll, she was still beating both of them.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Do you think America now, the America we are seeing, the America where we are discovering, thanks to Trump and thanks to, you know, the backlash reaction to Obama having been president, we're seeing there's still so much racism and prejudice in America. Do you think America at this time would lean towards not just a woman, you know, but a colored woman becoming president?
Not just let me add to just what you said there. Jamaican. Jamaican background. Let me tell you, Shelton. As much as this, among black voters, she had like what, 63% among black voters, Shelton. She was top of the top already. As she fall into the line there, I think the numbers are going up a little more. But America in general, the heart of America, what you gotta do is Jean Blanc. Masadi top, Shelton, because you have more living service in a couple years, so Masadi top. You know, mais c'est Jean Blanc, Shelton. C'est mon ça là pour pas pour ça. Yo pour pas pour ça pièce. Because a shy you had in a lot 50, 60 years. You te want a lot Jean en White House là. Okay? But moi ka do, Shelton. Si c'est pour New York, Madame Sarah 6 demain bon matin. Et en White House là demain bon matin. You know?
Right. The name that you were looking for, thanks to a message, is Gretchen Whitmer. You were looking for.
Right. Yeah. Her stature is looking good. Her numbers is looking good. She is looking good. But I am not quite sure. I'm not quite sure if America is not just ready because of her race, because she's a woman. I think that is where the problem lies. I don't think, as much as America wants to dictate to everybody, one thing they don't want people to dictate to them is to have a woman's president right now. I don't think.
And like I said, the woman is a colored woman again. My goodness, my boy, you know.
Yeah, I don't think. Although her numbers looking really good, as much as crazy Trump had a number, and I heard Gaspar said Trump was going to eat Biden. That's not true. That's not true. Okay. The numbers was that it would have been a dead heat. But I think Kamala is doing better than Biden.
Okay.
And right now, she just need the party, because there is a lot of faction. There is the Clinton faction. There is the Obama faction. What people don't understand, these past presidents whole factions in this.
That's what I say, and I'm thinking maybe Obama does not want at this delicate stage to be divisive. You know.
Exactly. Yeah, but there is the Obama faction. There is the Clinton faction. There is the Joe Biden faction in there. And people have to play it right. People have to really move the draft pegs right. Because what they do not want to have is to have an open convention where they throw chaos inside of it. That's what they do.
Okay. The other people that I had their names being mentioned, sometimes just the name itself. Somebody don't have a right sounding name, and that can mess them up. So a name like Shapiro, that don't really sound very presidential in America today. And the other name, Buttigieg, what's his name? Buttigieg?
Buttigieg.
Because I didn't vote.
Transportation Minister.
I just know the guy put more.
No, but Badusa, Shelton, party much about Bugla, because WhatsApp Bugla, let the boy side like WhatsApp, the power.
Thank you very much, Bernard.
Because we trace your voices and we trace your comments. But anyway, Shelton, the name I'm play do la. Me blag la. Shelton, policy Republicans policy flabo say trickle down economics. Let's cut taxes for the rich. Meme policy I say Buglan. But who say flabo about that from me? You got the chasne. Shelton, bye, John. Bye.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. All right, we're still taking your calls on 487-9849 and 4533-911. Let me see if I can. Yeah, hi, good afternoon. Real Issues, you're on. Yeah, I'm doing okay, and you?
Sheldon, the Vice President, yesterday, she raised $50 million for her campaign. And when Trump started, people didn't want to finance Trump. Now, you know what we have to do now? We have to try to get our families in St. Lucia, in the Caribbean. We have nieces and sisters up there, and my cousin up there. We need to try to mobilize them. All St. Lucia and the Caribbean people need to try to mobilize them to go out and vote Trump out. And I believe she should take Trump out. Sheldon, you don't think so?
How are you going to do that? To my shock, I'm finding that so many people that I would never expect.
You know what I say to myself? Trump, when they shot Trump in his ears, I'm saying to myself, who knows if Trump had tried to do that on his own and tried to get somebody to be sympathetic to him.
No. Even if he was faking it, to fake it with a live bullet so close to your head, to your brain, man. I mean, come on, that's too far-fetched. Nobody would take that kind of chance. I mean, it would have to be a super marksman from that distance to shoot with the assurance that is your head they would take, and that wouldn't smash into your forehead or your brain, man.
Yes, but he will go. Trump will go. He will go, just like this one in Tennessee will go. So my word to all Caribbean people who have the family up there, make it your duty to play the role of getting Trump out. And so go and vote, and so because Trump days are numbered. Thank you, Mr. Sheldon. That's a good topic you have there.
All right, thank you very much. All right, okay. Uncle Trump has the Democrats scared. Biden done. Biden just caused the party a guaranteed loss by not bowing out early enough. That's a message that I got. All right, we have another call on the line. Good afternoon, Real Issues. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Sheldon.
Yes, I got fed forward là.
Après papa bon Dieu forward là comment il est là sur mieux.
Bien merci vous-même.
Ah mais là quand tu es non papa bon Dieu. Mais là quand tu es seulement chacun là ça nous va attendre nous va prévenir qu'on a l'autre. Mr. Sheldon Daniel, là m'a pas autre nous moi malade. Là m'a pas autre tout ça il y a dit tout ce monde papa bon Dieu me have perdu quand me do I once I was lost but now I am found. Bon papa bon Dieu veut dire Steve vient garder pour moi. Because he's sad when the guy lonely là me guy with a large. Bon actuellement là me capturé côté me de arrivé et papa will love me vin gade ki moun ki tan zep la te mwen ki te la. Jodi ya, in 63 years ago, la changé ça. Mr. Sheldon Daniel, I believe in him, I hope in him, I trust in him, I love him with my whole heart. Si pas bon Dieu, nous ne pouvons pas bon Dieu, les hommes avec ça, ça va vrai. Le seul Dieu en trois personnes, le Père, le Fils, le Saint-Esprit, c'est un seul Dieu qui nous today, tomorrow, and after, come again. So, moi, je dis, tout le monde qui est là, à nous, tout en dit, oui, on a l'autre, and nous love one another, c'est ça, papa m'a dit, moi, on tout Ishmael, love them. But, nous pouvons parler, topic là, là, ça va pas sans moi. C'est le monde qui nous fait choice, pour ça, chaque faveur, chaque faveur, là, oui, merci, manière bagaille passer à carnival. La main de mon Dieu, nous, tout en négocier pour nous, gouvernement, à nous baisser pas, ça, nous, nous, nous. Merci, Mr. Sheldon Daniel, et pour la famille forward là, love everybody, my head person. Thank you.
Merci un peu le forward là, et puis je souhaite une bonne journée et puis une bonne semaine. All right, we continue taking your calls, 487-9849 and 4533911. Kamala would be able to run 2 terms only if she spends less than 2 years as president, if she ascends after Biden dies. Another message says, according to the 22nd Amendment, Americans are dumb for even suggesting that Obama could become president. Another message, good morning, tell Shelton we don't say a colored woman anymore. It's considered derogatory. That is what white folks used to call us colored folks. It's a black woman, African American, or in her case, Asian American, or woman of color. Don't say I said. So I'm trying to figure colored woman, woman of color, what's the real difference between it? So I don't know. Don't say a colored woman, but say a woman of color. All right, okay. I don't want to make my head too hard, especially when I'm not very sharp on those things. Do you have a color on the line? Yes. Not a color. You see, I said color so much. I'm saying a color. Sorry, a color. Saudia, Frankie.
Mola.
Ulas?
You know, Mola, you know the word in they call you reach your peak. You reach your
peak.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And I heard you talking about if Biden left it too late. And if Biden probably had gone too early, the other person, whoever, may have well reached the peak and they would not have come through enough. We've just 106 days to go, my brother. With the energy, I've been following that thing yesterday, with the energy and enthusiasm I'm seeing and the way the donors, the small grassroots donors and the women, you know, yesterday they had a call among black people and women of color and all kind of 40,000 people, my brother, not called just yesterday. 40,000 people in 5 minutes when they in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes or so. They had already raised something like $2 million.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
So there is a hype, and that hype with 106 days to go could bring a right, because right now Trump have to get another route. The man he had his focus on, he has got money because he did to add Biden and Biden ballot. So he had to find another route. They have to go on the research. They have to find out whether how can we hit her? So you have to re-strategize. My brother, in as much as America, in their mind, that's what we say, probably don't want a woman, but anything outside of Trump, I believe Biden would have beat him, because the poll was still neither one or the other were really adding. But I believe when it will get reach closer, Biden will surpass it. Okay. The age issue, but because of that woman, and remember the amount of seats that they lost because of the abortion and women's rights, my brother, Trump ain't winning no election. Mugabe makes it top credit.
All right.
Top credit.
Okay, so you can be allowed on election, keep us at the Sleepy Joe this and Sleepy Joe that. All right, thank you very much. Now we're almost out of time, so maybe we can take one more call. Someone said police leak. There are politicians in the force openly expressing their views on state issues. Also, there are persons who don't like the recent success in the fight against crime. Persons who should be disciplined for breaching force staff orders are allowed to continue unsanctioned. I agree with that. There's some people who are just being too downright political and openly so, brazenly so in the police force, and say what they want about me. This thing about the Police Welfare Association dealing with issues that are not welfare-related matters. They are not welfare. They are very specific things that a Police Welfare Association should be dealing with. A Police Welfare Association is not there to come and question policy decisions of the force and leadership, positions and so on. You are advocating for the welfare of police officers in terms of their pay, in terms of their conditions of work, in terms of benefits and those things. That's what a Police Welfare Association does. Police Welfare Association, there is some complaint or some kind of allegation of sexual harassment against a senior police officer. This is a matter for investigation, whether internal investigation, special investigation. You do that, especially because it is a sexually related allegation. You do not go identifying people like that in sexually related matters until and unless, they are convicted or so on. This is a matter which could end up being in court and so on. To be going and making it a welfare matter that has nothing to do with police, salary increases and the scale of remuneration and whatever it is and the arrangements for them, accommodation at the stations and so on, and if it is rat infested or whatever. It's not everything that is in a force that becomes a Police Welfare Association relevant matter, And when you allow those things to go on like that, there is a time it's the same way. You don't nip certain things in the bud, they spin out of control. And maybe a lot of that is happening, in the police force right now. So I'm not saying this is what happened. Like I said, it could be an accidental send. There's something going on in the country now where people believe an allegation is it's something that's proven. So there's an allegation. You call for the allegation to be investigated, but at the same time, you're making pronouncements on it as if it is already proven fact. If it's an allegation, it is something that somebody is claiming. It's not even an accusation. Some people want to play the bride, but they do not have the grounding in the information, to understand the circumstances and context of what they're talking about. In matters of crime, there are allegations, When a claim or a complaint is made, then it becomes an accusation where the person is actually charged, formally charged. But we have to go now, folks. The lotto is upon us. You know how it goes. A lot more messages I could have read. Give me some extra time after the lotto, please, okay?
22nd July 2024 were Double Daily Grand, 8, 12, 13, 20. Big 4, 4, 9, 5, 3. Big for multi-X, 2X. Pick 2, 4, 8. Pick 2 multi-X, FP. 1 off, 8, 4, 5. Lucky 3, 5, 6, 6. Lucky 3 multi-X, 5X.
Back to our regularly scheduled.
I'm not taking any more calls, just to read some messages that were, I feel if the people took the time to send them. If it was not stage managed, then the Secret Service was woefully incompetent. There should have been a Secret Service agent on the roof from where the gunman shot Trump. The Secret Service has explained that was outside their zone, of operations and so on. And someone says you are correct regarding the Police Welfare Association. It has gone out of control. Now, I'm not linking Police Welfare Association to that leak which has taken place of that police intel document. I'm just saying when you permit infractions like that to repeat themselves, it's been happening for a long time, and it's under a particular president or chairman of the Welfare Association that this thing is happening, then right now it will become a free-for-all, People will believe they can do things and take liberties, and they will push the boundaries more and more. Somebody has to tell a particular president or chairman of police welfare association, that those things are out of bounds for a welfare association. I'm not even going to bother with some of the other foolishness that's going. People don't know the difference between an allegation and an accusation and a conviction. They don't understand the difference between it. Yes, an allegation is made, but especially when it is an allegation of a sexual nature, you do not go identifying and dragging the person's name, not until something definitive has come up and so on. You don't do that. It doesn't even have to be a court matter. Some time ago, there was something in the fire service where a chief fire officer was accused of sexual harassment and this and that. You don't go dragging, but this matter went to a commission of inquiry which made certain findings on the matter and so on. You can now quote from the commission of inquiry report, but you don't come and say there's allegations that the chief fire officer is said to be passing around and squeezing women's back, the backside of his female officer. You don't do this kind of thing, There are allegations of misconduct and so on. They are being investigated. They were investigated. Dr. Francis Alexis submitted his report. Who said what was that and so on. And it came out. But you know what, dragging people's name like that. Anybody who wants to bring down somebody can just come and just say certain things about the person, and then you have it all out there, and then it turns out it was a little plot. It was a payback, a reprisal. It was getting back at somebody for something. People do that all the time. You have young girls who have been sexually molested by their fathers. It is true. But you also have young girls who are in rebellion against their fathers because the father is speaking to them about the wild life that they're living, and very young, and they're with man and married man and this. And then how do they retaliate? In rare cases, they do go and say that my father is because he wanted me or because he was after me, that he was giving me so much stress. It has been known to happen. It can happen both ways. You can't go and accuse the young girl and saying that she lied on her father, or you can't go and say the man is guilty. These matters have to be looked into with a certain degree of diligence. You might get the father telling you it's because I used to talk to her and so on about the wild life she lived in that she went and said that about me. You might go on, the young girl might say a different thing. You do not go dragging people's name through the mud, just like that. Anyway. Let me see that. Before Biden stood down, a poll showed Kamala ahead of Biden with Trump in the lead. All right. Whoever becomes commissioner must put the Police Welfare Association in order very early. And this is the problem, when you allow those things to go, these infractions assume or take on a populist appeal. So that you try to fix the things that are going wrong, and people believe it's because the Police Welfare Association was putting the government on the spot and they wanted to protect Philip J. Pierre, so they shut down the Police Welfare Association. Well, not shut it down in the sense of causing it to cease to exist, but you put the muzzle on it and so on, because it has been allowed to operate in this wildcat manner for far too long. And there are people who are applauding it because it serves their agenda at the time. If any commissioner or deputy commissioner has been doing this thing, there's supposed to be some kind of investigation. The investigation involves a hearing. The people who are accusing him, let them come and state that on such and such a day, I was in such and such a place, and this officer came by and he did this and that, and he touched my breast and he squeezed it. Whatever it is, you do. This is how it is. And then you weigh it down. Was there camera surveillance? Where the cameras, was there CCTV? You go through those kinds of processes. You find out what is known as the verisimilitude of the allegation. Is there any, credible semblance of truth about it? Because so and so, at the time it is alleged, was the person against whom the allegation made, was he even there? He can provide his passport and show he was in Jamaica on that date. You have to go through those kind of processes. But that's the thing. There's an allegation, and people come and they do lives and they say, well, my understanding is, and your understanding, an allegation. And right away they're crucifying somebody. One of these days, some of the people who are doing that, who do not want to do unto others as they would like others to do unto them, they're going to face it. They're going to face something where somebody will do something to them so heinous, so inescapable, in terms of their reputation, in terms of their character and so on. It will be besmirched so badly that they will remember what they did to other people. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's not true. Somebody come and say something about Shelton Daniel, and just because it is said, you go in and treat it as if it is true. People say things about people all the time. The things that people tell me about certain people, you will never hear me come and say it, you know. If I say it, it's in a manner to make sure I do not identify the person or whatever it is. Some people choose to come forward and to say, it's me you are talking about. Well, now you are the one who has taken ownership, you know, of what I said. I never mentioned your name. If you want to do that, do it. You know, if you want to feel, or maybe you like the publicity, whatever it is. But this is the thing that is going on in our country. Allegations are being elevated as if they are incontrovertible truth, and you're spreading it over people like that. I mean, just think if you were in the position. Would you like someone to do that to you? Anyway. Let me see the Real Issues WhatsApp group. To the person, to Maria, somebody says, Caller, why ascribe these things to women leaders? Everything you said about these women can be said about male leaders. According to Minel, my mistakes are no worse than yours just because I'm a woman. All right. I thought it's Minel who said that. I thought that used to be a country and western song by, who was it? Was it Tammy Wynette or My mistakes are no worse than yours? Or was it Connie Smith or something? I can't remember. Jacinta Ardern, Prime Minister of New Zealand, another outstanding leader. Yes, remember her? Reality is America is not, and sadly perhaps will never be ready for a woman as president, far less a black woman. I hope I am wrong. Someone says, I really wish Obama would try again. We've already indicated that this is not possible. I'm going to say, Shelton, we can't put anything past narcissists like Trump and Chastney. Look how our tropical Trump, who because of a skin condition claimed he has to avoid extreme heat. So when he was prime minister, he had taxpayers paying for his vehicle AC to run 24/7. But in opposition, would ride in the back of a pickup in the blazing sun just to try to score points. And they correct the person who says about Obama what I said. Obama can't run for president again because of the 22nd Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. This amendment was ratified in 1951 in response to Franklin D. Roosevelt's unprecedented. Well, I think I read that already in what I read from USA Today. Let me see what I can get there. Let's see this. A notice from NEMO, the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, wishes to advise and remind the public, especially Facebook users, that NEMO's original Facebook page, NEMO St. Lucia, bearing the URL https://www.facebook.com/PHDTL28 has been hacked, and our administrators have been unable to retrieve access. As a result, the following page, St. Lucia NEMO, https://www.facebook.com/profile.php?ID small I small d the =55905 should be the only source of official information on the Facebook platform from the National Emergency Management Office. Please be guided accordingly. I think I will share that in the Real Issues WhatsApp group so that at least other people can forward it, so everybody could know that you don't go getting wrong information. Yeah, I guess maybe it's already there, but thank you very much to the person who sent it. I've shared it in the Real Issues WhatsApp group. I'm getting another message which said, no name please, the latest update, is it that a fragment from the reading monitor struck Trump's ear? I'm not too sure. Maybe follow up. What reading monitor fragment? I don't know. That one has me a bit lost, you know. Yeah, but this thing about it was a staged thing and so on. Nobody will stage something with a bullet, a live shooting and so on, and cut it so close that it touches your ear. A little turn of Trump's head or a little inch in one direction and so on, and Trump could have been a goner and so on. So I'm not buying that. I'm not for assassination and this kind of thing and so on. No matter how much I don't like Trump, it would have saddened me and hurt me deeply if he had gone out like that. But I know America would probably be in the throes of a lot of unrest and a lot of upheaval right now if Trump had been assassinated. There would be people that you cannot convince them. And we've seen them. We've seen the fanatics and so on. You could not be able to convince them that it wasn't a conspiracy, it wasn't a setup, it wasn't something to which the White House was connected, that it wasn't, a murderous Watergate, that they assassinated Trump because they knew he was going to win the election and so on. And I mean, it would really, really destabilize America. So I'm happy it didn't, and I'm not for this violence thing, and so on. Let me just read a message which came from, okay, let me make sure. I did ask the person, but it's from a former diplomat, somebody very respectful, of great seniority in the diplomatic service in times past, who posted a message and said, while I concede that Joe Biden's physical and cognitive weaknesses exposed by his debate with Trump made him a less formidable candidate than he could have been for the presidential election, I believe that the campaign by some Democrats to force him to step down as a candidate was a tactical error and has just made it easier for Trump and his Republicans to win in November. After all, they will have a field day lambasting a confused, divided Democratic Party that could not pick a proper candidate as they rejected one already endorsed by 14 million voters. How can you trust the governance of your country with a party that does not know what it is about when Trump can certainly make America great again? Of course, the Democrats have to quickly coalesce around a new candidate if they are to have a chance of beating Trump. While Biden has endorsed Kamala Harris, his VP, Vice President, I wait to see whether she will in fact be the new candidate. For while it was being argued that Biden's physical and mental weakness meant that he could not last 4 more years in the White House, even though the bombastic Trump is only 3 years younger, that should not have been a problem because he had a vice president who would take over if he did not finish his term. That is the reason for having a vice president. And that is in fact the rub. I believe the real reason why some wanted Biden to go now was because they did not want a black woman to become president of the USA if Biden had to step down after being reelected. But despite what the polls and the media were saying, I did not think that a Trump victory over Biden was a foregone conclusion. Therefore, I will be totally unsurprised if Kamala Harris is not the Democratic candidate. The only reason why she may be is because time is not on the side of the Democrats, and a political battle over the candidacy is not in the interest of their campaign. One more word. This presidential election is another sign that the American empire is falling. When a country does not see a problem with having an unabashed liar, a conman, a convicted felon, a racist, a bully, who does not have a problem with publicly grabbing women by their front, a boaster, a dictator as a presidential candidate after his poor first term in office, and is more concerned about the age and physical ability of his opponents, a good man with a commendable track record, then you know that that country is in trouble. Great empires do not always fall quickly, but they do fall, and based on the history of past empires, the fall of the American empire is in progress. The problem for us and the rest of the world is that what happens in America and with America is of fundamental importance to all of us. I think that's a very nice piece. I congratulate the writer who did not want me to identify him, so thanks just the same for what I think is a well put together op-ed, A final message. Before the shot was heard, there was a voice alerting the police or other official of the gunman on the roof. Either it was not heard or no attention was paid to the caller. Yeah, so I guess the conspiracy theories about this attempted assassination of Trump will gather more legs and more energy and momentum than even the assassination of John F. Kennedy 60 years ago. We just have to wait. Time will tell. But for my part, I was relieved when I realized that Trump had survived, and I would have liked it. The instability. You see, love America, hate America. The fact is, so many of our people, Caribbean people, St. Lucian people, black people, it's their home. It's where they were either born or migrated to and have found opportunities that maybe they would not have found in any other part of the world. Whatever affects America negatively affects us in the Caribbean quite negatively as well. So I don't have a bone of ill will in me towards the United States. The American people are wonderful people. You've heard me criticize America, but I think I've been careful to qualify that the America I'm criticizing is that creature called Washington. You know, the place of the politicians and the lobbyists and the people who have their own interests and often using foreign relations to push their own agendas of greater enrichment and empowerment and so on. But American people, what you consider mainstream, ordinary Americans, they are wonderful, loving people. You know, they're naive. They don't have great worldview. Many of them don't know of anything outside America, even their own town, much less their own state and so on. You know, they don't know much about the world. They have this simple thing about we must trust our leaders and what our president says has to be true. There is that, you know, naivety about a lot of Americans. And I don't know if it's most or, you know, there's that naivety about them. So, you know, they don't know much about Europe and they don't know much about Africa and so on. The president tells them there is a place in the Caribbean where, you know, they are very evil people who are trying, and oh my God, we have to send our troops to St. Lucia because they're trying to destroy, and they don't know, they never heard about St. Lucia. Some of them will be saying Santa Lucia, whatever it is. By the same token, their leaders and representatives will tell them there's a place in the Caribbean called St. Lucia where the people are suffering, and so back many people are walking naked because they have no clothes and they're so poor. And the same Americans, oh my, we have to do something for the poor people of Santa Lucia. Oh my, we must help them. And they'll be packing boxes, they'll be taking food out of their cupboards. They'll be peeling clothes off their own backs to send to the poor people of that's Americans for you. They like to feel they're making a difference in the world. They like that feeling that they're making, you know, a contribution to helping others. It's give them that inner sense of heroism, you know, and being good Christians and godly people and so on, you know. They like that sense. And sometimes without even knowing a thing about St. Lucia, this one thing about an appeal for a place called St. Lucia, they'll be sending things. They'll be packing water on their shoes and everything to send to you. Wonderful, loving people for the most part. They are the manipulators, the politicians, the Washington establishment, the lobbyists and the middlemen and the arms dealers and so on who are stoking conflict and wars so that they can make money of it. And I want always to make the distinction, do not hate America, you know, as America. It is a place of wonderful, sweet, loving, godly people. The America that I am weary about is that creature, for the most part, called Washington. The manipulators, you know, and those types of people and so on. Americans, on the whole, are great people, good people, blessed people. I love them like I love so many other people. That's the real issues for today, folks. Thank you so very much for being part of it. Thanks, Jaquan, for the extra time. God willing, all things equal, let's do this again same time tomorrow from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on Real FM Radio, NBC Television, Facebook Live, YouTube Live as well. Shelton Daniel signing out.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.